Hello, I'm excited. I hope you are too. Even Mrs. Smith is excited. She's got me to do a t-shirt. So the hashtag, and she said do a t-shirt. So I did a t-shirt. She said do a t-shirt. So I came back Smith Knits so that everyone knows what the hashtag is. And then she went,
you haven't put the hashtag.
You haven't put the hashtag on. And I can't put the hashtag under my armpit. Anyway, so welcome to our KAL. This is my first ever knit along. I'm really excited about it. And today I'm going to call it stage 1. It's like Tour de France, isn't it, Joey? Mm-hmm. And today what we're going to be doing is I use the knitted cast on method, which my mum taught me 50 years ago. But you can use any method to cast on. You use what you're comfortable with. You know, that's the whole point, isn't it? Knitting is you just do what you feel, what feels best for you. And then we're going to knit a row of plain and a row of purl. And then I'm going to show you how I do corrugated rib. And then once we've done the first row of corrugated rib, we're going to join the ends. So we're now knitting circular. And that will be it for today, because at that point, there's another 25 rows of corrugated rib until we get into the chart proper. What I'm going to do is allow 2 days for people to do the 25 rows of corrugated rib, and then the next video will be out on, so it's Sunday night now, so it's Sunday night here in England, and so the next video will be on at this time on Tuesday. So Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock, video will be out. I did go through what you need for the knit along. So I went through the yarn and I went through the needles and that sort of stuff. So I did a video, a pre-knit along video. So if you haven't seen that, that's on YouTube and Patreon. So you might want to watch that. It came out a few days ago. People have said a few things on the back of that video. So some people have said, can I put all of the charts on Ravelry, because they use Ravelry to organise their knitting life? And the answer is yes, I'm working on that, and hopefully by the time this video comes out they'll be there. The other thing is people have asked for a link to We County Yarns, so I'll put that below if you want to go to We County Yarns and look at the packs of yarn for this knit along. So for now, I'm going to get to it and I'm going to cast on. So I'm going to cast on. I've got my, I'm really excited to undo these. In actual fact, I'll put it off a bit. Can you see these, Joe? So these are my We County Yarns mini balls. And so I've got, they're the 10 background colours there. Can you see those, Joe?
No, not all of them.
Oh, do you want me to move them this way?
Yeah, you have to move them right forward. A bit more.
Bit more. So there's my background colours. And this is my foreground colours. I haven't opened this yet. Oh, exciting. Very excited. My foreground colours, and whilst I'm at it, I'll just show you these other colours that they sent through. So they sent me through a darker red. This is their Kinross 4-ply, and that's in case I wanted to go slightly darker on the red. And people might have noticed that in the remembrance blanket that I'm knitting, there was a colour like this, so they sent me through a lighter colour in case I want to go lighter on the background. So I don't know whether I'll use those yet, and I don't know whether I'll use anything out of my stash, but for now I'm just going to cast on. So I need to pick a background colour to cast on, so I'm just going to pick it randomly, really. In actual fact, I'm going to go with the Ivanhoe. It's shouting at me. So there we go. There we go. I'm casting on. Exciting. So So now I usually try to cast on as tightly as I can, because so you might want to just go down if you've got a needle size or something, half a size or something. So I'm just going to put the slip knot in there. But otherwise I get I get the edge curl a bit, you know, not massively, it's not, you know, a big worry, and it will block out, but so I like to cast on quite tightly because I'm such a loose knitter. So well, quite a loose knitter. Yeah. Mrs. Smith has asked me just to do a couple of stitches again, because she felt that my hands were too low and people might not see it very clearly. So I'm going to do it again and slower just for Mrs. Smith. So we're going to go in through there. Oh, it's hard when it's up there. It's hard for me. So in through there, round, through, little twist, and on, in, round, through, little twist, and on. Okay, see you when I've cast on. Stop. So I've cast on 190 stitches. I hope that's correct. I haven't even looked at them, but I've done 2 of these back to back, so I should be right. Cast on 190 stitches and knit in a row, and knit a row, and then purl a row. So now I'm just going to knit the next row. So I'm not going to join the ends, I'm just going to knit the next row. So again, you don't want to watch me knit a row for 190 stitches. So I'll see you at the end of this row and at the start of the next row, which again, I'm not going to join the ends, I'm just going to start purling. See you then. So that's the knit row finished. And so now I'm not going to join the ends, I'm going to keep it flat. And this is the only purl row. Well, I say the only purl row because you've got another one at the other end before you cast off. So all of the rest is knitted. Obviously you've got purl in the rib and that's all. So now I'm just going to purl back, and I'll come back to you when we start the corrugated rib in a second. So I've finished the purl row and now I'm going to start the corrugated rib. The light here is terrible today. I shouldn't complain really, it's good light, but it's a bit patchy from the window across this table. So I need to pick a colour. So I'm just looking at my reds and oranges and pinks now. I'm going to pick that one, I think. So that's my first one. So I'm going with, what's that called? Blush. I don't know if I spoke about colour. What I try to do is I want to make it as random as possible. I really want it to be random. I'm not trying to, to do consistent stripes. So I'll probably come off of the purple Ivanhoe. I'll probably come off that next row once I've knitted the first row of corrugated rib, or maybe the row after that. But I will do 3 or 4 or 5 rows of a colour, and then I'll swap over onto another colour and try to keep it as irregular as possible and move between the colours irregularly generally. Sometimes I will try to knit colours that are close together, but sometimes I'll have big jumps in colour. So it, you know, it all, in the end, I want it to try and look as random as possible. So corrugated rib, it is 2 plain knit stitches. That end there will get lost in, so I don't have to knit that end in because it will get lost in the steek. So 2 plain knit stitches, so 1 knit stitch in the background colour, 2 knit stitches, and then with the foreground colour it's bring the yarn forward and then 2 purl stitches, trying to do it slowly so you can see what I'm doing in this weird light, and then the yarn back. So I'll do it again. So it's 2 in the background colour, it's 2 plain stitches, 2 knit stitches, and then I'm going to purl foreground colour, so it's yarn forward, 2 purl stitches, yarn back. And so I'm just going to keep doing this now till I get to the end of the row, and then we're going to join the 2 ends together and start knitting in the round. So I'll see you then. So I've just knitted the first row of corrugated rib and I ended, so I started the row with 2 knit stitches and I've ended the row with 2 knit stitches. Now you might want to put a stitch marker in there to mark the beginning and the end of the row, so you might want to put a stitch marker in there, but I know, and I've done this lots of times, that those 4 stitches are an obvious indicator that this is the end and the beginning of the row. So I don't need to do that, but you might want to put a stitch marker in there for the time being, just until you get used to the fact that those 4 stitches are the beginning and the middle of the row. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop across the 2, join the 2. Now the most important thing is that there isn't any twist in the knitting, and this is why I like to do a few rows before I join, because then I can be absolutely sure that I haven't put a twist in. And weirdly, not weirdly, but there is definitely a twist there somewhere. Hang on, I think that's it. But I usually check this, because once you've actually knitted a Mobius loop, which is where there's a twist in it, you make sure you never do it again, believe me. So I normally check 3 or 4 times just to be absolutely sure that there's no twist in it before I join the 2 together. So when I join the 2 together, I want to carry the pink with me. So generally what I do is I go to do the knit stitch, and then I do what I do when I carry yarn anyway, which is I put the carrying colour between the 2 needles, and then I knit that stitch like that, and then I knit, but I give that a tug because I want that to be as tight as possible there. So I knit that, and then I knit the next stitch. That's tight. Okay, and then I'm back on the purl, 2 purl. So I think I said earlier 25 rows. It's actually 24 rows of corrugated rib now. So that's about it for now. I'm going to get on and do 24 rows of corrugated rib, and I'll see you in a couple of days. There's a couple of things I just wanted to say before I finish, is that the We County Yarns packs contain 200 grams. Now I've weighed the mugs and the single flower that I've knitted, and they weigh about 140 grams. So if there's a colour here that you don't like particularly, you're going to have plenty of colour left over. You're going to have about 60 grams left over. So I thought I'd just say that. So, and the other thing is obviously because some people are going to be knitting from their stash. So 80 grams of background and 80 grams of foreground. There's probably a bit more background than there is foreground. So if you were to say 90 grams of background colour and 80 grams of foreground colour, that should be plenty. Okay. Okay, thanks for watching. I've taken a few days off this week so that I can get this KAL done, get it finished. I've done 2 back to back. So at the beginning of December I knitted the mugs. The right way up? Yeah. And it took me 2 weeks to knit that, but I was working at the time, but I was doing every spare hour. And then I started this one on the 21st of December and I finished it on the 31st of December. That's when I finished work. So during that time I wasn't at work, so I knitted that in 10 days. It wasn't knitting all day, every day. Obviously, it was Christmas with the kids and everything like that. So that was 10 days not working. So I'm assuming I'm going to take about 10 days to knit this. And I didn't want people twiddling their thumbs, waiting for me to know what to do next. So that's why I've taken some days off work. So in episode 2, we're going to be looking at working from the chart and carrying floats. And I'm just going to leave you with a board, a list of all of the social media that across. In actual fact, it's not all the social media we're across, because Mrs. Smith's TikTok account, what are you called on TikTok, Mrs. Smith?
The Knitting Widow.
She's called the Knitting Widow on TikTok. So if you're a TikToker, go and follow Mrs. Smith on TikTok.
All your videos on them there.
Yeah, it's just me, isn't it? It's just me talking. Yeah. And showing my stuff. And so I'm just going to end with our board full of social media. And what I wanted to say is we're covering everything that we can at the moment. And the reason is we don't really know what works, because this is our first knit along, or what's going to work for us. But it would be really good if you could go and interact in some way with the social media that works for you, whether it's our Patreon or whether it's Ravelry that you like, or Instagram using the Smith Knits hashtag, or whatever it is, just so that we can start to understand what social media works best. And then we'll probably hone it down for next time, because we're probably doing too much. So if you could look at which social media works for you and interact with that social media. Mrs. Smith is working on, she's doing me a list, and I'm going to do in the next couple of days, she's going to do like a knit along, where she's going to put all of your questions to me, because I don't see... Chat along. So any questions that you've got, any comments, any constructive criticism, she's going to throw it all at me. So it's a bit scary for me, but I'm just going to sit there having a knit once I get onto the main part of the knitting, and she's going to throw all the questions at me. So you feel free to ask me any questions and to comment below. Thank you.